It is official. I have joined the Lisbon, Portugal fan club. It is true. Please stay tuned for some tips and budget advice for enjoying Lisbon, Portugal. I traveled from Spain and met some wonderful Americans that now live in Portugal, and they told me that they absolutely love Lisbon, Portugal. Safety and affordability were highlights. So if this is your first video with me, can you please help me by liking and subscribing? When I was in Lisbon, Portugal, I found the transportation to be very doable. I found the city to be extremely walkable, and I, as a independent female traveler, felt very safe. Budget tip number one, just walking around Lisbon is beautiful and fun and an exciting way to spend time because there's so much to see. Lisbon is charming. This is the walkway up to my Airbnb, and this is my Airbnb. Super cute. When visiting Lisbon, Portugal, it is definitely worth your time to go to the town of Sintra. It's about maybe a 45-minute train ride from Lisboa. There is a local public bus that will take you all around Sintra for a nominal fee. Make sure you pack water and snacks to avoid those hefty tourist prices. That was budget tip number two. Always pack water and snacks so you don't overspend with tourist prices. Pina Palace is a highlight of Sintra that you must see. The architecture is very bold. It reminds me of a mixture between Moorish and Renaissance style. There is an entrance fee to go to Pina Palace, and there's an additional entrance fee to go inside the palace. However, the exterior and the views of the palace are amazing, so just pay for the exterior. That's another way to save some resources. Tip number three, definitely you can do Sintra on your own without a guided tour. Just take the train from Lisboa to Sintra and use the public bus to get around Sintra. That's tip number three for budgeting. So a lot of people ask me why I travel so much. Well, I love language, I love different cultures, and I like to learn about new potential opportunities. And speaking of language, I did not experience a severe language barrier in Portugal. I do speak a very limited amount of Spanish, so if my English wasn't sufficient, I did use my Spanish skills, which will definitely get you by. But most people do speak English, especially in the tourist areas. They built this palace around this huge boulder. I love it. I also get the surprised look when I tell people that I went somewhere by myself. I see traveling independently as more of a benefit than a hindrance. When I travel independently, for some reason, I always learn more about myself and I have more clarity about any direction that I am contemplating. What about you? Do you travel a lot and would you travel independently? Let me know in the comments. Another majestic part of Sintra is a visit to Quinta da Regalara. Sorry for the mispronunciation. It is designated as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. It has been described as a cultural landscape with a luxurious romantic park full of wells and benches and fountains. It's also filled with caves and a chapel. So I know you all will never do this. However, battery life is real. And if you don't bring an extra battery, there is a high probability that you will not be able to take some of your fantastic pictures. I'm not saying who, but somebody did forget her battery and lost a lot of pictures because of it. You can easily spend 2 days in the town of Sintra. I did it as a day trip and it was well worth it. Budget tip number 4, take the public bus and tour the city on the public bus. There's so much that you can see just by taking a local city bus in the town you're visiting. And get off when you see something interesting. I ended up taking the public bus and I got off in the town of Belém. And while walking the sidewalks, they all have these different designs on them. Belém reminds me of San Francisco. As a matter of fact, all of Lisbon reminds me of San Francisco because of the weather and the seaside culture and all the hills. Budget tip number 5, go and see the monuments. Usually in every single city, especially Belém near Lisbon, they have monuments, and monuments are traditionally free. There is a huge map display in front of the Age of Discovery monument, then a very flat walk to the Tower of Belém monument, and another slightly medium walk to the Monastery of Hieronymus. Sorry about the mispronunciation. The history of the Art of Discovery monument in Belém can be controversial depending on what part of history you are reading. But with that being said, the detail in that structure has to be applauded. I think this goes without saying, but definitely wear comfortable shoes because in Belém you'll be doing a lot of walking after you get off of the public bus. Everything is pretty much within walking distance. This is the Tower of Belém. There is an entrance fee to go inside, but I found it sufficient just to view it from the exterior. This tower survived the Lisbon earthquake. If you have watched a couple of my videos, you have probably noticed that I'm not a really big foodie. However, in the town of Belém, there is a dessert shop called Pastillas de Belém. They have the best custard tarts in the world, I would say. They are delicious and you have to try some of those while in Belém. The Hieronymus Monastery was free for me to enter. I think it was free for me to enter because I went to the worship area. And as you can see, it is also amazing. Tip number 6, my final tip. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I love grocery stores. Grocery stores, you learn a lot about the community, the culture, the city, the country where you're traveling to. So go to the grocery store, pick up some meals, some snacks, and you not only will save money, but you will learn so much about the place where you're visiting. Thank you for watching this far. Please help me again, like and subscribe, and I will see you in Porto, Portugal.